Hey y'all, it's your girl Mayday Mayhaim, and we have
Just Bob Bowman coming back at you.
I was pushing the other way because I'm used to going like this, so my arm went that way. But yes, we are back for another Mayday Mayhem podcast, and today, as my co-host for this Sunday, and until he tell me I ain't doing this ish no more, maybe I'm not doing it. We have again Just Bob Bowman. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Just one more cup. Just one more cup. I
Let me
have
stick
my
with the
coffee.
water.
You got your water. Oh God, we are.
Oh, what's happening? Where you go? Man. Are you there? Man, this is wonderful.
Yeah,
This
we're
is awesome.
experiencing the same problem we had last time. Can you hear me?
I can hear you breaking up a little bit.
I'm breaking up.
Well, I can hear you now.
This is crazy. Every time we go live, it seems like it's a problem.
I don't know what to tell you.
Every time we do. Last Sunday, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Last Sunday, we had the exact same problem, y'all. Last Sunday at the exact same time, exact same problem. The powers at B are playing with me. I think it's Elon Musk. I ain't gonna even lie. I think it's Elon Musk playing with me, y'all. I really think he playing. Well, while I'm trying to get this situated over here, I don't know, like why we're having an issue. Well, while we're trying to get this situated over here, we were talking about a story that happened here in Chicago, where a young lady was strangled, actually found in her own garage by her mother. And I actually want to talk about it today.
Are you still able to pull it up?
Yeah, I'm actually able to pull it up. I will present the screen right now. Let's see. I'm pulling it up. Present. All right. Here we are.
Murder of a Chicago mother. Prosecutors say she was killed by someone she knew well. The accused killer was in court today, so was our Suzanne Lemignot, and she's learning more about his violent past.
Prosecutors say that the victim, Sierra Jamison, had known Lawrence Boyle for 10 years, and just a few weeks before she was murdered, they had started a romantic relationship. Jamison spoke with us back in August. Sierra Jamison was interviewed by the CBS 2 investigators about a story involving Black women being targeted by criminals more often for certain crimes. She had been the victim of an attempted carjacking in 2022.
My thoughts are that it's like, I don't know why a lot of people want to target young women.
Prosecutors say 63-year-old Lawrence Boyle strangled 30-year-old Sierra Jamison on Monday. Jamison had gone to her garage to park her Jeep on the 7800 block of South Indiana. Prosecutors say Boyle was waiting inside. At first, the machine worker at a cup manufacturing plant said he thought Jamison had a gun. But when he realized she didn't, he continued to strangle her until she went limp. He took her cell phone, then covered her body with a green tarp. Prosecutors say Jamison's brother saw Boyle leaving the garage after she had parked her Jeep. Boyle told her brother Jameson threw her cell phone at him, then went to a store. A short time later, Jameson's mother went to the garage and found her daughter under the tarp. The assistant state's attorney told the judge he used his two hands to suffocate the life out of someone he was in a dating relationship with. Records uncovered by the CBS 2 investigators show Boyle had a previous 2011 domestic violence aggravated assault with a deadly weapon arrest and was charged in March of that year. A month later, the case was dropped. Boyle was also convicted in 1993 of child abuse in North Carolina, and 6 years later was out of prison by 1999. In court, it was also revealed Boyle served 2 years for breaking and entering in the North Carolina Department of Corrections and had a 1997 misdemeanor conviction for assault on a woman. And now he's accused of a more heinous crime in Chicago, making Jameson's words from her interview with us last month so haunting.
I guess because we women and they don't think that we're easy to target. I guess that's the situation. I guess that's the issue, because we'll probably be more vulnerable to give up and let go or what the case may be.
Angling Jameson, the judge ordered him detained. At the Layton Criminal Courts building, Suzanne Lemignot, CBS 2 News.
Now, as you can see, what happened. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. This is so terrible. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, as you see, he was a machine operator. And she was 30 years old. And he was 60. She had been knowing him for 10 years. And they had just interviewed her because she was a victim of an attempted carjacking. And she says she thinks because women, people think women are vulnerable. So this wasn't the person that she just met or knew. She knew him for 10 years.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, I have so many questions about the relationship and how it started 10 years ago and how it developed into what it was. But, once a person is an adult and they interact with certain people and they have these interactions, and you never know how that relationship started off as.
Because think about it. She's 30. He's 60. So 10 years since she was 20. And she has a 6-year-old child.
Correct. And so I'm like, what was their relationship like when they first met? Since it was such a huge age difference at the beginning. And then the fact that she had a 6-year-old child that obviously wasn't by him, like, because, and this is just me being honest about what I've observed. You have women that have older men when they're younger, like around 20 or such. And, these men are like their sugar daddies or whatever. Like they have them do things for them, running errands. Not necessarily is that guy, receiving sex in return, but he's still trying to build a rapport with her to a certain extent. Sometimes he's even willing to deal with her, using him like that, even when she's involved with somebody else, because he's like, oh, that's not going to work. I'm just going to buy my time, and eventually she's going to end up with me anyway. And so that could have been a situation that happened, and he waited 10 years until she got to that point to where she was comfortable enough with him and comfortable enough with the age difference to establish a relationship with him. But then, I mean, this is just pure speculation.
Yeah, we're speculating at this point. Yeah. Because my thing is the age difference, and by her being 30 and him being 60 and them knowing each other, and from her words, her saying that they think women are vulnerable, and she was also a victim of a carjacking, in 2022, it makes me, from my observation looking in, that she could have been looking to him for protection, security. Some women, yes, they look for older men as, yeah, he got that money, he got that paper, he gonna keep me in that Gucci, that Coach, that Chanel, that Louis Vuitton, that Fenty, that Sheen, that Temu, whatever the hell they wearing, he gonna keep me up in that. You know what I'm saying? But then some women are looking for men as, again, protectors. She was going to school, she had graduated, she had a profession going for her. He was just a machine operator. And as you heard, he had a long, extensive history, from child abuse to domestic violence, all stretching all the way back from 93, 97, 99 in different states. So again, these could have been things that he could have concealed from her, because he's only been knowing her for 10 years now. Right. We in 2020, what is this, 2023? Yeah. So that would mean since only 2003, and his crimes were committed in 93, 97, 99 in a whole different state. So pretty much, let's say since 2000s, she's been knowing him. 2003, since she's been, no, 2000, this is 2023, so 2013.
Right.
Can't neither one of us count. What the hell? I know I can't count. Product of Chicago Public High School. I'm just playing, y'all. I went to private school too, y'all, for real.
No,
but
go ahead.
Seriously, that would be 2013. So again, we don't know what he was doing between 99 and 2013, but we do know in 99 he was just getting out of prison in North Carolina for heinous crimes, including, like I said, including child abuse. And again, think about it. This woman, again, she has a son. You know what I'm saying? A 6-year-old son. Again, we're speculated, maybe allegedly, was looking at him, whereas this could be someone that can protect me. This could be someone that, I've been knowing him long enough. He's never done me any harm. He seems like a nice guy. Everyone has a past. Everyone has things in their past that they're not proud of, that they've done. People can change, So this could have been in her mind, not knowing how heinous this man is. And then maybe a light bulb clicked. And she said, you know what? I got more going for me than he could actually have for me. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that could be the reason why she was unalived. You see what I'm saying? Because she was found strangled in her garage. But again, going back to the women and people part, it could have been a thing of security, just to say that I have someone to protect me. I'm not scared to walk down, because look, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the West Side. I'm from Chicago. You be wanting to have a whole bunch of people walk down the street with you, especially this day and time, like, and that still is not a guarantee that nothing will happen to you.
Correct.
That's still not a guarantee. So again, it could have been a thing of security. And again, she was in her garage. Let me walk you to the garage. Something that my boyfriend or my man would automatically do. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think it was maybe more for security. But yes, you have men and women that are out here dealing with people of an older age because they want that financial security that you're talking about. Absolutely. Right. You see younger men with older women because they got a little paper, a little bread, and they breaking them off a little piece of that little pension, that little social security check. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that.
But I'm also looking at it like, you know, what was her vetting process for him? Like, I mean, I know that she knew him for 10 years, but it's different when you actually in a relationship with somebody and when you're just casually, you know, doing your thing with them. Now, like the way that I'm thinking about it is like, did she do her research on him? Did she know people that knew him for many years? Did she know his family? Did she know, you know, any of his children? Because it said that he was convicted of child abuse, correct?
He
So
was convicted of child abuse.
Yeah, so I'm quite certain that was his child that he abused. So it's like,
or it could have been a girlfriend's child. This happened in a whole nother state in like 93, 97.
Right. So it's like, you know, it was a lot of questions that could have been asked. And then she could have had her mother and her brother, which were mentioned in the story, do their own research on him and find out and figure out what it is about him. You know, I mean, and it's like, it's not a guarantee that that would have saved her.
I was just going to say that.
But at the same time, you still have to use some type of vetting process and you have to trust your instincts. Like if you see some red flags on a person and it's like, oh, I don't think that this person is, you know, going, you know, do right by me or treat me right, then you have to follow those instincts.
But
like sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but you still got to just go with your gut. I mean, in life, everything is a risk. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, getting into relationships is a risk. Traveling overseas is a risk. You know, dealing with different family members, depending on their situations, can be a risk because they could bring you into a dangerous situation. So it's a lot of different, you know, things to think about. But at the same time, you have to do your due diligence on figuring out whether the person is good for you or, you know, I mean, but at the end of the day, you know, you're going to figure it out and have the consequences of it.
But you find so many times that people hide who they are. And sometimes people get so good at hiding who they are that they can do it for years. They can really hide who they are for years. Like, I mean, literally until they slip up and you really see who they are. So it could have been a situation where this information was hidden from her, you know, because it's so easy to lie. It's so easy. Like I have to really pull up my files because I have fibromyalgia. And sometimes I had an episode this week. And sometimes when I have my fibromyalgia episodes, my brain go into a fog. So that's why I have notes. Like I have to write down everything. So I have to go back into my notes. And it was a man that he literally unalived someone and lied about it, and they was able to literally just look back and see, no, we can literally see that you lying right here. And he actually went to the point to where he hired an actress. Matter of fact, this was the story that the slumber party story.
Oh, okay.
It was the slumber party where these two girls, they went to the neighbor's house for a slumber party, and they had been doing this all the time. And he ended up unaliving the two teenagers, his own wife, her teenage daughter. He also unalived himself. He had just gotten out of jail for child pornography. While he was in jail, he had that with him. He hired an actress to say that she was the sexual assault victim and that it wasn't true, and this, that, and the third. He hired someone to lie for him. So people go to extremes. They literally go to extremes to cover up their lives. So we don't know what extremes did he go to cover up the lies. Was the argument that occurred because maybe she found out about his lies?
Right. But before anybody get into any serious relationships, that's something that we all should do.
Absolutely.
To
Need to.
properly vet,
Yes.
look up arrest records, because arrest
Yes.
records are public.
Yes.
You know, you can look up that information.
Yes.
Just make sure that, you know, even if you feel like something is sketchy, like they're
Yes.
hiding something, do your due diligence. I know that it's not 100% foolproof, but it's better than just leaving yourself vulnerable 100%.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
It's
I have it.
unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate that she lost her life,
Absolutely.
you know, due to this, you know, and it's a lot of men and women that lose their lives believing and trusting someone who they should have never trusted in the first place because they didn't do the proper vetting for it, or the person was just a good enough liar
good enough liar.
to cover it up, and it happens, you know, like some people have that riz, they call it.
Yeah, that's just, you know, the riz. That's the new word, riz.
Or
because
swag or charisma, you know.
Look, they say I'm paranoid. I don't care what it is. Every man that I have pretty much dated in the present, after I pretty much left my kid's father, my younger two, I have did background checks. Yeah. I want to know exactly what you was arrested for. What? Oh, no. Smacking somebody, was it a man or a woman? Oh, he smacked a man. Oh, okay. As long as it wasn't no female, we guns. Oh, no. Gone on somewhere with that brain. Nobody got time for that. Like, no.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying? You vet people, and then also, like, say, go off their materialist, that gut instinct. Because some people have never been in jail. Some people have never been in trouble with the law. You know what I'm saying? Right. So again, we need to find a way to properly vet people so we don't fall into these bad situations. And we're not even talking about someone unaliving us or someone else. We're talking about being in toxic relationships. We're talking about being in abusive relationships, not only like physically, we're talking about mentally, spiritually, right. You know,
but
those type of things.
Yeah,
with your isms, these feeds into your isms, like helping me with the isms.
Yeah. But one thing that I was also going to say is that even if a person hasn't been arrested or they haven't been in trouble with the law, if you still have a bad feeling about it, just go off that instinct. I mean, and believe me, like I've had women that say, "Oh, I just don't feel right about this," and it was upsetting to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I mean, it's just a part of life, and you know, like sometimes I was more upset about the wasted time and the wasted money on the date, but after a while, I had to get over it because that woman had the right to say no. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't force anybody to, you know, be in a relationship with me just because I invested my time and my money into a date. Like that was my risk, and that was my, you know, that was my fault for putting myself out there. And it's not like to say, oh, I'm not going to try again, but I have to do my best to make sure that if I do invest my time and my money, I don't have any expectations. Like I go in there with no expectations of anything working, and I don't like, you know, like have any ideas of, oh, you know, this girl is so fine, she this and that, you know how I go. Like when you really feeling somebody and they probably don't feel the same way about you or halfway feel that way, or, you know, unsure. So it's just like, you know, I'm learning how to live my life without expecting anything, like, you know, because you have a lot of people out here that do good for others and treat others well. Yes. And they have these expectations that it should be returned to them. and that's not the correct way of thinking, and I had to learn that the hard way, because it's like eventually you're going to have good come back to you. It probably ain't going to come back to you when you think you should get it. It could come back to you at a later date,
on a different time. But everyone
Yeah.
wants that same love that they're given. They want that same love reciprocated. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And when you find someone that says, well, I just don't feel right, or if you find a woman that says, I just don't feel right, don't think it as though it's you. It could be something she just don't feel right within herself, because it could be something that she ain't got right within herself that could be not aligned with something that you got right with you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So don't take it as a diss towards you, like, oh, no, take it as psh, okay. Look like, oh, that means she ain't aligned. It's something at you. You know what? You're absolutely right. It's something not right. You're right.
Right.
Don't take it as a dislike. It's something wrong. No, obviously, it's an alignment that's not between you and her. So let her go find her alignment somewhere else that makes your alignment open up for who you need to really be aligned with, who's really going to be on your same vibrational path and wavelength. You know what I'm saying? That's going to really be a companion instead of a distraction.
Correct. And that plays into the topic today, the isms. And like when I say isms, it's
Let's
like
break them down for break them down
like
for break them down.
we as individuals, we have to learn who we are within ourselves, where we fit into society as a whole, and how we learn how to mesh those two up together in order to be as successful as we can be. you know, and like
Absolutely.
and depending on who we are and where we're at and where we're from, there are limitations and ceilings put in place for us. We can either learn how to deal with those limitations or look for ways to go around it, or some people try to force their way out of it. Some people are successful at doing that, some people are not. But it's all about who you are and what you're comfortable with doing, and understanding that life is the way that it is. You have no expectations, but you still try to focus on what it is that you want, knowing that it's a possibility it might not work out, but always know that you're doing the best that you can. And that's real success. But when we look at isms, we have to look at isms as a whole. And the first thing we have to look at is the word organism, which is, the definition of that is, all living creatures are organisms. Even the earth is considered an organism. And the reason why it's considered an organism is because it's a foundation and a structure that sustains life. Just like our bodies. Our bodies are organisms because it's a structure that maintains life. And when you look at that, and then you look at how the circle of life works, the food chain works, it's an evidence of a grand architect, as the Freemasons say. Like, it's something that created all this, and it's an organization and an order for how things work.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
And
I'm with you.
and when you look at it from that point of view, and you see that it's a structure and an organization, and you have all these humans here, you have like certain power structures that are put in place to see if it'll help the people with being able to work as a community or society. And like in America right now, we work off of the foundation of capitalism, which is trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit, capitalizing on workers trying to survive. And it's based off of skill set, knowledge, ownership, and management skills. And those are vital to success, along with a strong network. Even though America is a capitalistic society, it's not a pure capitalistic society. And this is something that I learned in college. And the
Mhm.
reason why it's not is because We do have social safety nets such as Social Security income for the disabled. We have public aid. We have what's called minimum wage, affirmative action, certain things to protect people in order for them to be able to survive in a capitalistic society. And if you look at it was a movie that came out a while ago. It starred Leonardo DiCaprio. It was called Kings of New York, and it kind of and
That's
it
my
explained,
movie.
yeah, and it explained how these social programs came to be, because it was a lot of people being, like left out and ostracized from being able to, advance and move up. And so they like, okay, since we can't do nothing and we poor, we just gonna, run roughshod and make life miserable for everybody else. And then when they saw that this was happening, they were like, hey, we got to change how things are done. We got to change the structure. There's too many children out here that's not, that's homeless, not eating, not, being productive members of society. So we have to do something in order to make it more beneficial for everybody, even though we know everybody isn't going to make it to the top, but we got to give people an opportunity to at least make a livable wage, or at least be able to survive with the bare minimums, But what's your take?
But look where that has gotten us now. Look how it has gotten us, where, yeah, we have these social things put in place, but are they really working?
Right.
Is it really working right now? It works to a minimum. Like we literally have still like the dead rabbits, and like I said, that's my movie, Kings of New York. That's my movie.
Right.
We still have that same plague where we have vets that can't even get, they social services that they need, and they literally fought for the country, lost limbs, mentality, spirituality for this country, and they can't get the minimum health care. So yeah, it was to help create these things, but then now it's almost turned into a socialized thing.
And that's where I was going to go with my next point.
See, okay. See, I'm with
you.
You
Already following me, which is socialism, which has been widely talked about recently. And socialism, socialism is production, distribution, and exchange of goods are owned and regulated by the community as a whole. Social Security is based off of socialism. The government, which is in theory, are ran by the quote unquote people. Future projections such as social credit score has also been talked about in the media. And it's more like okay, we're gonna let the government take over, the businesses and the institutions that run, like, they're gonna take over the banks, they're gonna take over the cars, they're gonna take over the restaurants, and they're gonna regulate who gets paid what and how much, and and it's gonna be government based, public based, where everybody's salary, everybody's information is public. Everybody knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like what they're trying to do with the South Side, well, not South Side, but food deserts, what they're calling them, where literally instead of having, a store coming and taking over and actually having products there, they're literally capitalizing on like this socialism type of situation where the government is going to come in and, oh, we're going to give you food. And when I heard it, and I was talking to my mom, like, that sounds just like WIC. I'm like, that it sounds like WIC to me. And those who don't know what WIC is, that's for like women and children. Like when you have a baby, they give you WIC coupons to get the milk, the fresh products, fresh milk, fresh fruit. It's supposed to be for the mother and children for the first year of a child's birth. That's what WIC is. That's what it is here in Illinois. So when I first heard it, I'm like, that sounds a lot like WIC, where you're going to get produce from all big places and you're going to put these produce in these areas. And now people have to come to these areas to buy these produce. Like that's kind of socialist type behavior that we're having, and it shouldn't be that way. You see what I'm saying? And this is
No,
supposed to be
I see what you're saying.
food desert. So why not put up places where people can buy their own groceries instead of limiting them to what they can and cannot have? Because that's eventually what's going to happen. It's going to be limitations to what people can and cannot have.
Yes, and I agree with you on that. However, we saw that it was a lot of closings of stores on the south side.
Absolutely.
And they used the reason for, like the people not making enough money to shop at the stores enough to where it's like a lot of circulation going into the stores, and also people robbing and
Stealing
stealing.
and robbing
Yeah. And the police not being able to do anything about it. So they losing millions of dollars in revenue, and these companies can't afford to keep on losing revenue, even though they're needed in the community. If the robberies and things of that nature isn't being addressed, then it's gonna like eventually it's gonna run those stores out, and then you're gonna
and that's
have,
what it did.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
and then insurance. Hey, Ben Stinker, how you doing, sweetheart? And
yeah,
not to even think about that. It's the it's the you have the crime, like you said, in the area. It's the crime.
right.
That's not being addressed. If you can address the crime and stop it, and I don't want to hear, oh, it's just no, you have adults committing these crimes. It's not no 14, 15. No, you have people in my age bracket committing these crimes. So again, that was the reason for the stores closing. And again, insurance. People don't realize that these people, when they come in, they have to buy insurance. Just like I have to have my car insured, my house insured. People have to have renters insurance and all that stuff. And it goes by where you stay at. It goes by. So if they're having their properties that's constantly vandalized, constantly being robbed, the turnover rate is 0 to nothing. Just like the Dollar Tree, it was $1, now it's $1.25.
Right.
So again, now you're still limiting what people can and can't have. If I want to buy my baby's Huggies brand, and no, all the distribution gave us is Pampers brand. Pampers brand might break my baby out, but no, this is all we have in this area. It's Pampers brand. You can't get Huggies for your baby. So again, you're limiting what people can have. But again, what do you do in this situation when you have, again, the society that's stopping? And it's not everyone. It's only a small group of people that can easily be stopped.
Well, I was also going to say this, like the crime is an issue, but it's also revenue. They say foot traffic, which goes into the next phase that I was going to talk about, the ism, which is communism, which is class war leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person is paid according to their abilities and needs. For example, a person with 7 children working as an auto mechanic would get paid more than a person that's working the same job that only has a child of 1 in theory. However, all persons and all things and all materials are public property. That means that the house that you live in, the car that you drive, everything, the internet, your personal information, like everything is public property. You're public property.
The shit.
That you'll be,
I was just thinking about that, and it's crazy because you hit on something I literally was talking about earlier. I'm like, dang, in order for us to, we are taxed to even live.
Right.
We have to pay to be alive. Like I've never, it just dawned on me. I'm like, dang, I gotta pay to be alive. Like you have to pay. I bought my house, but I still have to pay taxes on the land of my house. And if guess what? And like you said, it becomes public property. If I don't pay taxes on my house for, let's say, 4 years, the city can come and take my house. Even though I bought it, you still don't own the land on the house.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
still paying for the land. I may own the house, but I don't own the land. It's still public property.
Right. Correct. I mean,
And
it's
it's crazy.
so we have already a form of communism, even though we don't fully understand that yet.
Yes, we do. Because I
Yeah.
don't own my land. I own my house, but I don't own my land. If I don't pay taxes for 100 years, Cook County can take my home and say, this is our home now. Well, give me my money for the home. No, no, no. We're not giving you anything because we own the land and your house is on our land. So you're getting nothing.
And a lot of people don't know this, but say, for instance, the government want to do a project.
Yeah.
And they want to take over the land that you live at.
They can take it.
They can take it.
Yeah, they can take it.
And they can, like, if they want to, like, say, for instance, I live in the south suburbs. Say, for instance, they want to build a new expressway. And they want to go right where my house is. You know, they can do that. They'll pay me whatever they think the house is worth, but they like, well, you're going to have to leave. And
if you don't take they offer, they're gonna keep them offers gonna get lower and lower and lower till it's nothing. They're gonna tell you, well, you got about 5 minutes before we demolish your house.
Right. I mean, and it goes like that. And a lot of people don't know that that happens, and that goes into another ism. Because one thing that people don't understand, and I didn't understand this until recently, is that our government has a form of what is called fascism.
Yeah.
And fascism, fascism is a political movement with extreme nationalism, militarism, and places the nation and one powerful leader over every individual. Only the very wealthy and highly skilled can be successful in this environment. And when we talk about things like that, where the government is saying either you take this money and move or else, that's a form of fascism, because they pretty much telling you, hey, you're going to do this and you're going to do it now. And if not, you're going to suffer some consequences. Law enforcement is ran off of a form of fascism. Because even if you're innocent, but if you're accused of something, you could be arrested and detained and put in jail.
It's supposed to be you're innocent until proven guilty, but no, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Correct.
So it's we do live in a somewhat of a fascism. Y'all know I can't talk.
Fascist state.
Y'all know I can't talk. Fascist state. With some of the things that do go on. Yes, only the very wealthy will get ahead. Look at what they did with the people that had bought their homes to build the Obama Library in the South Shore neighborhood. Those people bought them homes 50, 60, 70 years ago when Black people weren't even really allowed there. And now they had to get up, pick up, and move for a library. The state took the land. The city took the land. Look at what they're doing in Hawaii. Now, them fires happen in Hawaii, which that's a different thing. I ain't gonna even you know what I'm talking about. Them beams that happened, that fire. And what did the rich and wealthy want to start doing? Snatching up that land. Because in reality, they want to make Hawaii the first smart city. If y'all didn't know, they wanted to make Hawaii the first smart city where it's all ran by technology. So that was they planning with that. But again, they started snatching up. And what did our president want to give to the people of Hawaii?
$70.
No. $700 for a surviving family.
$700. $700 each. And he's giving billions of dollars over to
Ukraine, a blank check to Ukraine. But
hold on. And he went to Maui and said, "Oh, I've had a fire before, but it was a small kitchen fire." And during the ceremony,
I was out of my house for 7 months because I had a small kitchen fire and the house almost fell down.
And no, and
these people have ashes. I literally saw a dog in the middle of the road, unalive, gone. And you trying to tell me you comparing Hawaii to your kitchen? Sir, no. You can't.
He fell asleep. He fell asleep during the ceremony.
It was sir. Then you have people like Oprah that want to snatch up this land, and they're selling this money to want to sell their land, these people to sell their land for pennies on the dollar. Right. They want these people land so bad it's not even funny. Right. And the people, and then only certain parts weren't burned, and it was the parts that was owned by wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
And how quick the fire literally went a mile a minute. Literally 1 mile per minute. So if it was 60 minutes in an hour, that fire went 60 miles an hour.
And so that sounds like fascism to me. And not only is this governments attack just people, like everyday people.
Absolutely.
You have governments that attack small governments or small countries, and this is called imperialism.
Mm-hmm.
And imperialism is when a country that has a lot of military might or a lot of power, they use their power military to subdue another country. And when they get that other country subdued, sometimes they move in and take over. Sometimes they don't. And if they don't, they just have control over what's going on in that country. And they'll be imperialist in that country. But if they want to go in and take the resources of that country, that's called colonialism. And colonialism is acquiring full or partial power over another country. And America, Britain, France, Portugal, you have a lot of different countries in Europe and here in the States that have used colonialism in order to take over land in other countries or take over the government in other countries and have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how, like the U.S., they took over a piece of Africa, and it's called Liberia now. Like they allowed some of the free slaves to go over there and colonize the people over there. And that's how Liberia was established. And then we know that France had a stronghold over Western Africa for many, many years, where they were, taking over their resources and things of that nature. But then they gave them their so-called independence, but they were still in control over them. And France no longer uses francs for their currency. They use euros. But when they take the resources from these African countries, they pay them in francs, which is basically valueless now.
Right, because they use euros.
Yeah. So it's like they pretty much robbing these countries for nothing,
for their resources, and then getting billions of dollars off of it.
Correct.
Like the blood diamonds, we've heard them stories hundreds of times, and the millions of stories. Like I've even heard the story about Queen Elizabeth when she went to Canada and allegedly took some children and allegedly was found guilty, but it's against the law to arrest the King and Queen of England.
Yes, because
it's against the law.
They have diplomatic immunity.
Where like 12 to 16 children came up missing and they were found guilty, but it's against the law to arrest the King and Queen.
Correct.
So again.
Yeah, like some people have that type
They
of
got that
power.
power. They
Yeah,
they have that power.
and then that goes to the next ism, which is classism. And classism is prejudice against or in favor of people belonging to a particular social class.
Hmm.
And the Queen of England being able to get away with that is a form of classism because she was able to get away with it because of how far up in rank she is in society,
Absolutely.
which is a form of elitism, you know. And
Absolutely.
like these people that's on the very top of the so-called pyramid that we live in, those so-called people that's on the very top, they can get away with any and everything that they want because of their position and their
Yeah.
authority.
Yeah. Them families, that can get
Right.
away with certain things because of how, like you said, how up they are. They are the quote unquote real gatekeepers. They are the quote unquote real people that you don't see. They're not, these are people that you don't see. The
Right.
ones that you will never see them. Like everyone think, oh, the Jay-Z's. No, no, no. These people you will never see. You might be walking down the street next to them and not even know it. That's how secretive they are. You will never know.
Right. And then it makes me think about, like, I used to look at I used to read books by it was an author named David Icke, and
Okay.
he would talk about the Bilderbergs and the Trilateral
Yes.
Commission and the
Hmm.
Council on Foreign Relations. And this was before this was public knowledge.
Yeah, I
Like
have a few
I
of
was
his books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was reading this back in the 90s when I was in
Yep.
high school. So
Yep.
I was just like, oh, who's these people? Like, some of his views were a little bit way out there. But now, because of the sightings of extraterrestrials or the UFOs, now it's like,
Hmm.
maybe he was on something, on to something, like, because it's like he was right about Bilderberg, he was right about the Trilateral Commission, he was
The
right about the
Rothschild.
council, the Rothschilds, Council on Foreign Relations. So this information, even though they've tried to hide it for so long because of we're in the age of information, a lot of that stuff is being leaked out in the public, and there's nothing that they can
Absolutely.
do about it.
Nope. Because
But
let's not forget, like you said, I just want to piggyback off the aliens because again, extraterrestrial, they've came forward saying that these extraterrestrials exist, and how many people have lost their lives, have been committed, have had holes drilled in their heads because they've said they've seen extraterrestrials, have been ostracized, and now here to come to find out that, oh, they are real, and it's 22 different species and they're all here.
right.
What?
And yeah, and so it's like you really have to, take into consideration what's going on. And it's like this information is out there, but it's, even though we know that this stuff is going on, it's at the point like, okay, it's out there. What are you gonna do about it?
Nothing. You can't
Exactly.
do nothing but prepare yourself and just watch. Just, yeah, well, cause I'll be looking at people funny now, be like, is you one of them Zeprons from the Ark situation? Like, no wonder I'll be getting all these different strange codes and stuff. But no,
Right.
seriously, we are living in a time of where what was in the darkness is coming to light. Everything is coming out. Everything is literally coming out, and you can't hide it anymore. Even down to where they said they have alien bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes off like when we talked about last time, CERN, Large Hadron Collider, that's going around in Sweden. I had no idea it was even one here in Batavia, Illinois, until about maybe 10 years ago. I found out it was one here in Batavia, Illinois, that was built in the 70s.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's a small LHC here in Batavia, Illinois. It was built in the 70s, and they've been busting colliders on us, bro.
Oh, wow.
Right now.
All right. And now that we talking about the social class or whatever, or classism, it ties into povertyism, which is negative thoughts and behaviors towards people in poverty.
Yep.
And one thing that I had to learn about these isms And it was a harsh reality for myself, is that we all have them to a certain extent.
Yes, we do.
And then I was looking at the povertyism, because I grew up on the south side of Chicago, so I had to deal with, going to a high school and not having the nice clothes or the nice shoes, and and being pretty much like picked on because of that, going through the bullying and name calling and stuff like that. And that's a form of povertyism, because I wasn't able to afford the Jordans or the
Right.
nice clothes. So I
Absolutely.
had to endure being mistreated, and it was people even in worse situations than me. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like, oh, it was bad, but it like, because it like, you have to understand, it's certain children that grow up homeless, that
Yes.
live in shelters,
Yes.
that have absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Imagine what they have to go through when they go to high school.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then in other countries, it's even worse than that.
Yes. Absolutely.
So like, you have to deal with that. You also have to deal with educationism, which is negative thoughts and behaviors towards people who lack education. And sometimes it's because they don't have access to the schools or the environment that will enrich their minds in order to be the best and be successful as much as they possibly can, because they weren't born in a wealthy family. They didn't
Right.
have the privilege. Like some people, because of how smart they are, they're able to get scholarships to go to certain schools and deal in certain programs, but that's very few and far between. And now it's getting to the point to where like it's affecting athleticism, like athletes, because you have certain people who grow up in poverty, and they have these certain camps that you need to go into to help you with building a rapport to make it to the elite level of college, to possibly get into the NBA. And they have these programs starting from high school, where you have these summer camps, and it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
You're absolutely right, because my daughters, they do dance, and I'm not gonna lie, they do competition dance, and it's something that they enjoy, and they want to even one of my older daughters, she wants to even try to even get a scholarship for dancing. It's $700 a month. It costs money to send them to these schools, and this is extracurricular activity.
right, not
So
even counting the school tuition.
well, they go to public school here in the
Okay.
town that we stay in, but again, I'm in the suburbs, but still you have to pay for this extracurricular activity, even though they're going to travel, but still this is something that has to be paid for.
Correct.
It's 700 some dollars. I damn, they have to get a part-time job just to pay for them to go, you know. But this is something that I know that they want to do, that's going to excel them, that could possibly get them a scholarship into college, to where they don't have to worry about funding, or do I have to worry about this, and then their grades are good, so they might possibly get a scholarship into college where they don't have to worry about, like I said, well, I don't have to worry about sending them to college.
Yeah. But one thing that I heard, and it made a lot of sense to me, is like it costs more to be poor than it does to be rich.
It does. It is.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does cost more to be poor
Yeah,
than it
because you
does to
miss
be
out
rich.
on a lot of opportunities, a lot of
Yes.
chances, just because you don't
You
have the
can't afford it.
resources. Yeah.
You can't afford it.
Yeah.
And it may only be something that may cost $100. And if you're in that economic bind to where you have to choose between, like you said, Jordans or food, I'm going to choose this food over some Jordans. But
Right.
then you have some people that would choose them Jordans over food and will be hungry for the rest of the week or month.
Right.
No, I'm going to choose this food, and then we'll get you a nice little pair of shoes.
All right. And then continuing with the main topic of classism, you also have racism,
Oh,
which, and like I said, we all have forms of racism within us because of how we've been programmed.
yes.
And then you have colorism, which we
Mm.
talked about on our first one, and
Mm.
it's affected both of us in the dating market.
Not even in the dating, everyday life. Colorism affects me every day. Like every day I walk out my door, they do not let me forget how dark I am. Sometimes I wake up like, yeah, it's gonna be a great day. Oh, I forgot I thought I was a human being for a minute. My bad, so y'all can accept the aliens, but you can't accept me. I don't get that. So
Right. Yeah, and then you have heightism, which affects people in the dating market. Yeah. Like, we
oh,
talk
I
about
was
that
talking about
too.
the
Like,
short king.
yeah,
Oh,
the
gotcha,
short,
gotcha.
yeah,
I'm like heightism. Like that's a
yeah.
new one.
But heightism also affect women, like real tall women. It
Yeah,
affects them
they
in the
can't.
dating market too.
Yeah, they can't. I've heard really tall women because I have a few friends that are like 6'3", 6'4", and they have a hard time finding dates. They say because men don't want to date them because they're so tall or they're taller than some of the men that they're trying to talk to them. So yeah, I can see that being an
See,
issue.
and I would date a woman taller than me. I have dated women taller than me, but some of them are too. It's because of how society is. They get insecure about that. Like they wouldn't want to be seen with me because I'm shorter than them.
And see, that's totally different. These women are like, men don't want to talk to me because I'm too tall. And I'm saying these women are like I said, 6'2", 6'3". These like these women could be like in the WNBA. Like, girl, why ain't you in the WNBA? Like, girl, my nails, girl, I'm too delicate for that. And I'd be like, girl, like, let me have some of that height. I'm like, girl, let me have some of that height. But they have a hard time finding men because, again, like you say, they will date the short men, but then the short men get besides themselves. They begin besides themselves. I'm like, whoa, he did what, girl? Yes. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So heightism. Then you have weightism / sizeism. You
yeah,
know, and
I've
and,
been.
and, and me, I'm going to be honest. I have heightism. I mean, weightism or / sizeism issues
I,
within myself.
I, I,
You
I,
know,
I have to say the same thing because I'm not. Y'all can't really see, but I'm not that big and I'm not that small. I'm in between. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I, I but I can say I'm a plus size girl. I don't have a problem with that. And it's like either I'm too big or I'm not big enough. It's like, which one do you want? Like, what do
right,
you want?
right. I mean, and even though, like I said, I like the slim women. Some of them are insecure because the guys that they be wanting be like, man, you not thick enough. And
See,
then, the women that's like the BBBBWs, like they have a hard time because they like, oh,
yes,
you're not small enough.
and
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand, and it's something that we as a society we have to like understand that everybody has their preferences,
mm-hmm,
but at the same time, we have to be, you know, how can I say this? Um, like we have to be realistic. You know
mm-hmm,
what I'm saying? Sometimes we might have to do some traveling to find what it is that we desire. Sometimes we have to wait years to
mm-hmm,
get what it is that we desire. And we have to understand where we are in our lives personally, you know, and what is hindering us personally from getting what it is that we want. Sometimes it's not because of society as a whole, it's because of us and the things that we need to work at for ourselves. Like one thing that I had to learn is that, okay, until I have myself totally together, until I'm confident within myself, until I'm at that point to where I'm not worried about money or spending too much, where I'm at the point to where I can go on trips and do things by myself and enjoy myself. I probably shouldn't worry about, relationships and dating until I get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that was uh, it was a hard pill for me to swallow,
Mm-hmm.
because before I moved out of Chicago, I had my own car, which I still have my own car. I had my own place that I was living in. Like I had decent clothes. I was still working the same job that I was working at before.
Mm-hmm.
But in the neighborhood that that I lived in, like the women wasn't really feeling me. They were feeling more like the thugs and people
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like I seen dudes doing way worse than me, pulling
Mm-hmm.
like fine women that wouldn't even talk to me. And I didn't understand it, but I understand it a little bit more now. And it's because the type of person that I am,
Mm-hmm.
they knew that they couldn't like control me to the point that they could control that person.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that person, gets in trouble and gets locked up and thrown away, they can easily replace them. Like
On
somebody
to the
like
next
me,
one.
yeah, somebody like me is hard to replace.
You're not that type of person. You should take that as a badge of honor. Like, I'm not that type of person. I'm not that man. Good. I'm glad I'm not that man. Like, I take it as a badge of honor when a man pass me up and I see the type of women that he go and I know that badge of honor. I am totally fine with it. Thank you. Because and it may be a problematic type woman. You want drama, you want chaos, you want problematic type of people. I don't want that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
I
then
want
I had to look within myself, and I had to say, okay, I'm not attracting the type of women that I want, and then
yeah,
I don't like the women that's totally
attracted
attracted
to
to
you.
me. So
Exactly.
it's a me problem. So that means that if I'm not attracting the type of women that I desire, that means that at this point in my life, I don't deserve to be with one until I figure out what it is about myself that I need to.
No,
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
no,
Yes,
no,
yes,
don't say that.
yes. No,
No,
no. I'm just being like, this is being real. This is being real. Like it's
no.
something that I have to work on myself in order to get to that point. And it could
Okay,
be, yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
see what you say. Okay,
I'm
all
not
right.
saying
I
that I
see.
don't deserve it, period. I'm saying that it's something that I need to work on within myself in order to get to that point, or to get the quality of woman that I really want.
I think that's better worded. I don't think I think it may be because I had to ask a friend the same thing. Like I had to call him. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with me? I was like in tears. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with me? Like, what's the matter with me? He was like, ain't nothing wrong with you. Like, why are you upset? Like, what's the matter with me? He was like, they're just not the right type of people for you. Like, it's just that simple. Like, you need to create boundaries. I'm like, I created those boundaries. He's like, well, make sure you stand on that shit. Create those boundaries. Know what you want, and don't negate from that for nothing.
Right.
You know what you want. Stand on your boundaries. Don't let nobody talk you down off of that, and stick with that. Don't let nobody take you from what you want. And that's where we compromise because we don't want to be, oh, I don't want to be quote unquote lonely, or I don't want to be by myself. And we sit back and we'll take some of those boundaries down. And sometimes we're willing to accept anything just to have something. And I would rather be alone than to have something
Right.
that's not right for me. Just to
Right.
say I have anything. Nope. That's why I look so peaceful now.
Well,
Peaceful.
like I would say that one thing that helped me with my self-esteem was when I started traveling and going different places, and then I was, dating women in those different countries that I actually was attracted to, and they actually were nice to me. And so it was like, it ain't, I saw that it wasn't really a me problem. It was just the environment that I was in, and that I need to just meet new people. Not
Meet
saying
new
that I
people.
have, meet new people, get away from the people that look down on me, or that,
Right, just
that
meet new
look at me
people.
like crazy or something like that. It's like, and it's always new people, like in
Absolutely.
and around the Chicagoland area, I should say. So, like I had to learn to stop limiting myself,
Yes.
and be open to meeting new people, just being friends with people, like, or
Yes.
being
Yes.
acquainted with people, and not put so much pressure on looking for a relationship.
Yes.
But with
It
that, yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm also gonna say yes, it'll come like when you least expect it. It'll come when my mother told me it'll come when you least expect it. When you're not looking for it, that's when it'll sneak up on you when you're not looking for it. And I'm like, well, I'm just not gonna look for it. She said, see your ass looking for it. I'm like, oh my God, leave me alone.
Yeah,
So,
so with the issues with the marketplace and dating, it can also lead to sexism. And
mhm.
it's a lot of men out here that are sexist.
Oh yeah,
And so
absolutely.
and
Oh
so
God.
and even though women don't like to admit that they're sexist,
Yes, we
there's a
are.
lot of it's a lot of women that's what misandry is. And you have a lot of misandry out here that, like, they portray themselves to be feminists,
But they're
but
sexist.
they're sexist.
Against
And
men. Absolutely.
right, and it's like Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump, he had said something about racism because he was accused of being racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said something, and I was like, you know what? That makes sense, because he was like, I'm the least racist person you will ever meet. He said that he didn't deny being racist, but he said that he's the least racist person that you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if to describe me being sexist, that's how I would describe myself, as being the least
He's a
sexist
sexist person.
person that you will meet. I won't deny it, but I'll say that I'm not going to allow it to, control my every thoughts and my every opinions about women. But, like, I had a conversation with my mother yesterday, and it was a comedian named Corey Holcomb that I
Uh-huh.
absolutely love. I love his stuff. But her impression of him is that he hates women. And I'm like, no, he don't hate women. He be going at the guys too. And I was giving her examples of him going at the guys. But she was like,
Corey
well,
Holcomb be going off on them guys too. He really do.
yeah. Yeah. So, and he goes off on himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, when I explained that to her, she was like, but that's just how I feel about it. And then I asked her a question, and she didn't give me a direct answer. And I asked her, well, do you think I hate women? And then she was like, uh, she hesitated, and then she was like, well, I just think you haven't found the right person. And she wasn't answering the question. And I love my mother. So if I
Yes.
hated women, I would hate my
Hey,
mother. And I don't hate my mother. I think that she,
exactly.
even though she isn't perfect, like, she's a wonderful person. She's trying hard to improve herself every day, and she's
Absolutely.
doing the best that she can.
Everybody is.
Yeah. So, but I understand that, because I'm not gonna say all women, but it's a lot of women, when you don't do what it is that they want you to do, or date who it is they think that you should be dating, or interacting with people the way that they think you should, then they'll be like, oh, something wrong with him. He's sexist, or he's misogynist, or this or that,
Yeah.
because you're not acting in accordance to how they feel that you should act within the dating market. And I didn't understand that at first, because I'm like, I don't hate them, even though they treat me like that. But then I understand that you have people like Rashid, who we talked about earlier,
Yes.
he goes off on the deep end because he's tried to, be the person that they want, and they didn't accept it because
But because he
he's
didn't like
he
the
does
rejection.
yeah.
He didn't like the
and
rejection.
and it's like this. It's like, you know, like how you react to it, it says more about who you are as a person than them and how they treat you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
like I
absolutely.
had to really look at that, and then, but like I was saying, that everyone can be accused of practicing one of these isms.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that can cover it up is if you have power or likability, or giving in to the public criticisms that you face individually.
Mm-hmm.
And because you also have to look at favoritism,
Yes.
which is the practice of giving unfair preferential treatment to one person or group at the expense of another.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have experienced favoritism in our life, either in our favor or against us.
Absolutely.
And I know that you've talked about how you've experienced like people favoring certain women over you and things of that nature. And I've talked about how it was certain men that received favoritism over me in certain situations. And then I had to think about, like, there were job opportunities that I probably shouldn't have gotten, but I've gotten it because like I was shown favoritism,
Mm-hmm.
while other people would have been like, no, just keep him where he's at. It happens, and
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I have had I have had favoritism because they have liked me, and I have had favoritism because they have not liked me. So it has worked both ways for me too. I'm not going to say it's all been because they didn't know. I've had it because no, we like her, just leave her where it is. We're going to do this for her because we like her. Because she does this, she does that, she does everything we ask, she does her job well. So that could be a form of favoritism, or it be looked as um appreciation of employee, because
right,
again, I did my job, that person did their job well, so what's the problem? And then you have some people that are jealousy is jealous because they don't want to do half of their job, and they see someone getting promoted that worked hard for that job, and
hmm
they're angry. Well, I could have gotten it, but did you apply yourself to get it?
right. And then I also think about, like, it's certain programs they have in place to combat favoritism and to help people that usually get discriminated against. Like, I know
Mhm.
that I have, like, the job that I have, like, they do look at like your race, your
Yes.
ethnicity, and
Yes.
me being a disabled veteran, on top of being black, like a
Mhm.
black disabled veteran, it
Yes.
gave me like three things that I could use to get me into the job. Like, I was considered a triple minority.
Oh, triple threat.
Yeah. And so being a triple minority helped me get the job that I have. And I had to be honest with myself about that. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, and then some people, they're able to acquire favoritism because they have charisma.
Mhm.
Charisma.
Charisma.
Yeah. And charisma is the compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. You have, like, one example that I have is actually I have three. But the first example is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I'm sure
Okay.
you've heard of him.
Mhm.
Like, he's the pro-black pan-Africanism, you
Mhm.
know, black families first. You're supposed to
Mhm.
be with a black woman, you
Mhm.
supposed to be with a black man,
Mhm.
have black
Mhm.
babies, black families,
Mhm.
black marriage,
Mhm.
black schools, black businesses.
Mhm.
He's on that tip.
Mhm.
Um, and like, people, they respect what he says because he does come with some good talking points, even though I don't agree with everything that he has to say.
Mhm.
And then you know, and this
It's
is
his
just me.
tone.
Yeah,
It's the way he speaks. He has that gift of gab, so to speak.
right. And he has said some things that would cause other people to get canceled, but
Yes.
because it's him, he's allowed to keep on going on. Like he said some things like, "Oh, you know, anybody doing this or anybody doing that, they deserve 50,000 lashes." And I'm like, for you to be a black man to say that a person deserves lashes for not doing what it is that you think they should do, like that's crazy. And I'm like,
Wouldn't that
why
be
would
like
I?
modern day slavery?
Yeah, like you see, he wants to be a dictator within the black community where he tells people what to do and how to do it.
And
With
how
that
we
type
should,
of
what's
yeah,
appropriate to act, and how we should act, and how women should act, and how we shouldn't act. And oh well, I'm asking for money. You only gave me $5. You could have gave more than that.
right,
I've seen him on broadcasts, dude, and I'm looking like, well, you could have got your ass up and got your own money.
right,
Like,
yeah. And
so
then you know, and he talks about respect for women, but like he be up there womanizing. He
I
talks
don't see
about
any respect.
families, but he has 2 baby mamas and never been married. And this isn't me being harsh and just trying to tear
No,
the guy down, but I'm just being critical of what it is that he has done because he wants to put himself as the black morale leader.
it's
And
more as live by what you preach.
right,
You saying this, but yet you are not preaching this. You're saying that black women should be held as queens, this, and this, but you don't treat black women as queens. You're saying that this you should be married, and so why haven't you married not now one of your baby mamas then?
right. And the next person is Derek Jackson. Uh, yeah. Now Derek Jackson, he has charisma.
Yes, he has charisma. He got it. He got charisma.
And then he also has the looks and he has the gift of gab. Like, you know, the women, they swoon over his
I'll give
tall
him
frame and his muscular
look,
build.
look,
And
look, look, look. Some women might over his muscular frame. We gonna say he got the gift for gab and he got charisma.
he's also considered very handsome.
He's
within-
considered 8 out of 10 women would say he's very handsome, but you could also see the narcissistic characteristics. He's very narcissistic.
Right, but they don't care about that. They only care about the image and what he's saying, because they, in their minds, that's the type of man that they will want to smash.
No.
As far as the visual.
No.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I know what you're saying, but I'm good on that one.
I'm just saying, like, you know, all right.
I feel what you're saying. I got you.
Say, for instance, somebody that looked like Fat Albert was to say the same thing that he said. I'm talking about the same exact thing. Won't nobody pay attention to the Fat Albert looking guy? They will only pay attention to Derek Jackson because he has
of
that
how
image.
he looks. And now I understand how he looks and his image, his charisma. But again, for me and other 2 out of 10 women that see the narcissistic and the darkness in his eyes, like I never liked him. It was always something, like you said, that spidey senses, that gut. It was always something just not right with him. To me, it just didn't sit right the way he spoke. And really,
well, I mean, it's like his wife isn't 100% innocent either, because she was sharing him before they got married.
Yeah.
So it's like she knew what she was getting into even beforehand. And then you have a guy like Brother Polite. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yes, I've heard of him.
I like to call. Yeah, he got 7 years.
He got 7 years.
Yeah, I call him Dr. York Jr.
Yeah, I know who Malik York Malik York is. Yeah,
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 Malachi Z. York.
Malachi. I'm sorry, Malachi York, because he got the little junior with yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Brother Polite, as he calls himself, he got his game from him,
Yep.
and he used his charisma. He used the money that he had, and he, from what I heard, he used to hire like like actresses and IG models and things like that to shoot these videos with him, just to be side by side with him to show him being successful
I can.
and
Mhm.
get people to listen to what it is that he had to say. And unfortunately, he was charged with SA with a minor,
Yes, he
and he
was.
was sentenced to 7 years in jail.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, that's what charisma can do to a person or to people. It can have them easily being manipulated, and the manipulator, he'll be so narcissistic that he wouldn't understand what it is that he's done wrong, because Brother
Oh,
Polite
oh
still
no. He
says that he's
understands what he did.
innocent.
No, he understands what he did wrong. He just doesn't believe he got caught, because he's
Right.
been doing it so long that he just can't believe he got caught. See, they know exactly what they're doing. It's the getting caught that messes with them. Like, I can't believe I got caught. I've been doing this so long that now I've gotten caught.
Right. And yeah, he was narcissistic and
Mm-hmm.
all that. And so was Dr. Malachi Z. York.
Yep.
I've read a couple of his books, and I was like, as soon as I read a few things that he's had to say, I was like, yeah, this guy, he ain't 100% right,
But
but
it's just like Nature Boy.
right,
Just like him, again, very charismatic, has that gift to gab. I will nurture you, I will nature you, I will love you, but I will also discipline you. So, but I'm disciplining you with love. You over here, be no men, be no women. Poor little Malia, little insides all toe up over there. Again, allegedly. But again, they have this charisma, and they've taken, again, like you said, some of Dr. York's mannerisms and enforced it in their own again. And then Dr. York built like the pyramids down in Atlanta and
yeah,
all that. And so again, I'm with you. Like, it's insanity. It's insanity, but it's
yeah,
narcissistic insanity. But it
right,
has the charisma to it that it sound good.
right. And pimps, preachers, political leaders, the
All the
famous
same.
and those in power understand what the ism is.
Hmm.
And those people have to ask themselves, because like not all of those people are just pure evil. Like even some of the pimps are not like just terrible.
No.
Like they're looking at it as a business, as from a business aspect. But you have to ask yourself if you're willing to be as manipulative as you need to be in order and deal with the consequences in order to use that charisma in the way that they use it.
Right.
So but at the end of the day, we all need to figure out where we fit in society and understand the isms that we have to face, and also that we have within ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
if we don't understand that, we have a high chance of going through what I would call ostracism, and that is
And
exclusion.
ostracized.
Yeah, exclusion from a society or group, to be cut off completely in the dating market, lack of money, earning potential, or opportunity, isolation from family and friends, a social outcast. Now, I have an argument that being a social outcast isn't necessarily a bad thing, and there's levels to it. You have those that are unaware that and are being manipulated. You have those that are aware and they are defeated and they accept the low class that's been placed on them by the ones that's around them. You have those that are aware and angry, like Rashid, for
Mm-hmm.
example. You have those that are aware and have accepted it and I consider myself as one of those that has accepted it, and I'm working on being aware and helping others navigate being ostracized, because it's something that happens to a lot of people, even those that's up in the upper echelons of society. Sometimes they go through ostracism because of
Absolutely.
certain things that happen to them or certain things that they've done, and they have to deal with it. Sometimes they have to deal with it alone until they figure it out, or until that dark cloud leaves, and then they can get back into society the way that they were previously. But what were you going to say?
No, I'm agreeing with you absolutely, because you have to look at all the people that left, like Scientology. They were big people in the industry, and they left, and they were ostracized because they left a big community. And we are talking actors, doctors, big political people that were ostracized for leaving the group. So yeah, it's either some people can't live with being ostracized, they can't live with being alone. I'm fine with it. They call it being an introvert. I don't have a problem with it. I deal with people when I feel like dealing with people, but I think I'm more like you. I've accepted that I can be in the corner, in the cut by myself, no problem. It's fine with me. But some people have a hard time accepting it. They don't know why, but it could be a good thing to be ostracized, because you could be around a group of individuals that mean you no good. You could be around a group of individuals that you shouldn't even be around, and that's the reason why you're ostracized, because you are not like them. You're not like them. This could be a group of wolves, and you're not even a wolf.
Yeah, you're a lamb.
You're a lamb. You want to go over here and jump over fences and say bah, or whatever lambs make. And these wolves want to go over here and attack the chicken coop, and you ain't on that. And so you're ostracized because we want to go over here and attack this chicken coop. And you like, I want to go back. I want to go over there. So they ostracize you, but good thing you're ostracized, because guess what? It was a rancher out there that had some buckshots waiting on them wolves. And guess what? If you would have been with them wolves, you would have been bad out there with them. But by you being over here with them lambs, ostracized with the other lambs, you over there jumping fences, having a good time, while they over there licking their wounds.
Right.
So sometimes it's a good thing, I see, to be ostracized, especially when people mean you no good. Like I said, it could be a good thing. It could be a blessing in disguise, because you don't know what this group of people had in their intentions. It could be your guardian angel saying, nope, I'm going to make it so that you can't be around these people. I'm going to make it so they don't want to be around you. I'm going to make it. Have you ever been in a place and you get around people and you get that bad, you be feeling good, like you ready. Then you get that pit in the bottom of your stomach, like, oh, I don't feel good. Like almost to where you're about to be sick. And once you leave that place, you feel so much better. Like you feel like a weight been lifted off of you. And then to come to find out later, something happened bad. No soon you left. That has happened to me so many times that I am content with being in the house. I have been in places where having a good time, then I get that. I gotta throw up. Y'all, I gotta go. I'm finna go home. I'll see y'all later. And then getting a call maybe an hour later, girl, a big fight broke out. A girl, something bad happened. Right soon as you left, about 10 minutes later, this. Now, no sooner I done left that, I done drove about 10 minutes later, that pit done left my stomach. I'm feeling much better. I'm fine. And I'm looking like, God, maybe it was something I ate. But once I got older, I started realizing, no, this is something telling me something is wrong. And I started taking on those cues. So I would get into places and hey, I start feeling that sense, gotta go, and I leave. So again, don't look at it as, oh, these it's good that them group of people don't like you. It's good. They don't need to like you.
Right.
Because you gonna find a tribe or a group of people that, oh, bro, where you been at this whole time? We've been looking for you, fam. You know, that, well, this is your lambs that you've been waiting for because you've been hanging out with wolves.
Right. And you know, it made me think about like what I went through 3 years ago when I went through my period of being like completely ostracized.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through my physical therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and I had during the time I was in so much pain and I was having a hard time walking, so I had a cane.
Mm-hmm.
And I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning and go for a walk for about 2 miles back with the cane. And then I would work out a little bit, like do the exercise that they showed me
Mm-hmm.
in physical therapy, and then I would
Mm-hmm.
go to work. And then after work, I would go back outside with my cane and do another walk, like at night. And like during that time, like I realized that I needed to learn how to love being by myself. I had to learn, and the reason why I didn't like being by myself because I didn't like my own company.
Mm.
And I was like, why do I feel like this? Is because so many years I felt inadequate. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because I do have certain things that I feel insecure about, you know. Like for example, I know that I talk a little bit slow and it's nothing that I can do about it. Like you probably don't realize it, but like me, when I listen back to myself talking, I know that I have like a speech delay because I when I was younger, I had a real bad stuttering problem. So I
I
struggled
don't
with,
hear anything.
a lot of people say that, but I hear it. So I know that sometimes I have a hard time expressing what it is that I'm trying to say. Sometimes it doesn't come out the way that I want to say it, but I have to learn how to be okay with that and just deal with what has been handed to me,
Mm-hmm.
and certain things that happened to me growing up or when I was in the military, certain mistakes that I made. I had to come to grips with that, the way that I interacted with people. And then I had to understand that I needed to set boundaries, as we talked about, as
Mm-hmm.
well as respect other people's boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got to that point, and then I was in better physical condition after I went through what I went through, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this is what I needed to learn through this experience. I needed to learn not to be angry about what happened,
Mm-hmm.
but to understand what happened and to learn from it. It was a learning experience. It was painful,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a learning experience. Like like
I get it.
yeah, like I have to live my life where my yeses are my yeses and my nos are my nos.
Yes.
And I have to accept what comes with me saying yes and what comes with me saying no. And sometimes that means that certain people don't want to be bothered with me, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know, because at the end of the day, like some people probably say, "Oh, you're going to die alone," but I know that I'm going to die alone anyway. It's like my life. At the end of the day, I'm the closest thing to God that I have. I'm the closest thing to God that I have, just like you're the closest thing to God that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And once I understood that, I was like, I have a heavy responsibility on my hands if I'm the closest thing to God that I have. So that means that I have to take really good care of myself, way
Mm-hmm.
better than what I have done previously.
Like, it's a thing that me and my friends we do because majority of us are single. We like do dates for ourselves. We literally date ourselves. Like we will take ourselves out to dinner on our own. Just to like again to reset, rewind. What do we like? Because just as we get older, things change. You know, seasons change. What we liked in our 20s, we didn't like in our 30s. What we like in our 30s, we don't like in our 40s. You know, and probably what I like in my 40s, I'm not going to like when I get 50. You know, I'm probably not. So, you know, it's like we are constantly self-evaluating ourselves, constantly. So I found it therapeutic that like at least once or twice a month, I take myself out to dinner. I take myself out. If it ain't nothing but a brunch, or if it ain't nothing but like while the kids is in school, I'll take myself to a brunch. Go get myself take myself to dinner. While they're at dance practice, sometimes they be at dance practice 3 hours at night. I will go get me a dinner. While they're at dance, go have me a dinner. Make sure I get their little doggy bags for them to have them something to eat when they get out. And just wine and dine myself. You know what I'm saying? And just to see, what do I like? You know, what has changed with me within these past few years that I like? Like you said, you had self-confidence about you talking. My self-confidence was my scar. I don't know if you can see it. It's a deep scar. It's a
No, I
scar.
can't see it. Oh, okay, I see it.
You can see it right here. It's a gnarly scar. It was from a car accident I was in 14 years ago. Well, the scar is 13 years old, but it's from a car accident for 14 years. I was really self-confident, self-aware about it. I did not like it. I still don't like it. But now I wear it as a badge of honor because I could not have been here. This is like a badge saying that I could have died. I could have been paralyzed. I could not be able to walk. I could not be able to talk, but I can. I used to wear it covered up. I used to didn't, you know, like this all the time. Didn't want no one to see it. No one to see it, you know. I would wear anything just to cover this up. Anything. Just cover it up. Now it's like, I don't care. And like I said, this scar is 13 years old. It took me years to get to, I just got to that point maybe about 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, where I just don't care. I was very self-conscious about it. Very self. I've had people, oh, what were you in a bar fight? Yeah, I was in a bar fight. Yeah. And I was the winner. You should see the loser. You know, so you know, so again, you know, I was really self-conscious. And especially after I had it done, because I had to wear a bone growth stimulator in the back of my neck for like a year. So, and at this time I was still working. So it was crazy. But again, I had to take that time to figure out what did I want? You know, what was best for me? And I'm still growing, I'm still progressing. Like now, at this point in my life, for a companion, I do know what I want. I know what I want. Have I found them? No. Will I find him? Yeah. Am I looking for it right now? Whenever he come, he'll come. Like, I will find him on this path. And if I don't, I'm still content with that. Long as I know who I am and what I want, and to make sure that my boundaries is not crossed, and that I'm taken care of, and that everyone is respected in a relationship. He's respected and I'm respected.
Right.
That's the whole thing about it.
And you know, and it's good that we are dealing with those insecurities within ourselves and trying to understand where we fit in society, because there are certain people that try not to deal with that. And then they deal with those insecurities or those fears or any of those things that they feel bad about, and they use escapism, which is seeking distraction and relief from unpleasant realities, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy. And how do they do this? Drug addiction, alcohol abuse, alcoholism, sex addiction, porn addiction, food addiction, narcissism, or being delusional, trying to live as another person or a character, living a double life, being super religious or judgmental of others, need to hang out and have fun all the time, sports addiction, television, or social media addiction. Those are just a few things that can happen with escapism. People trying to escape their problems through these things instead of dealing with the problems that they are facing or the negative thoughts that's going on in their mind and dealing with that.
Well, anything can be an addiction. Anything can be an addiction. Buying shoes, buying purses, watching TV, eating too much, drinking too much coffee, drinking too much water. Anything can be an addiction.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned materialism. So that's a part of escapism.
It's escape. Anything to escape the bad thoughts that you're having, or the bad environment you're in. Anything, walking too much, anything, exercising too much.
Right. I was going to get into that later.
Anything can be a form of addiction. Anything.
Right.
Anything that you use over too much, over that you need to use, is an addiction.
Right.
Writing too much, typing too much, talking too much, eating too much, drink, all that's addictions.
Right. So you mentioned working out too much. Some people, they, instead of like dealing with their insecurities healthy, they use another form, which is called perfectionism, which is, it causes body dysmorphia.
Yes.
They feel insecure about their bodies, and then they try to get it done with plastic surgery or BBLs. Or some people, they end up suffering from bulimia or anorexia, or they overwork out, or get liposuction, things of that nature, trying to fix what it is that they feel insecure about instead of like doing things healthy. Like, I'm not saying that it's something like, if a person really wants to get plastic surgery for something minor that they feel self-conscious about, there's nothing wrong with that. But then there's a limitation, because you don't want to get too much plastic surgery. And we seen what happened to certain celebrities that got too much plastic surgery.
And you don't want to get unnecessary plastic surgery, because then you can lose your life. We've seen that also to these beautiful women. I mean, gorgeous women. I mean, unprecedentedly beautiful. I have no problem with telling a woman that she is gorgeous. No problem.
Yeah, like DC Young Fly's
wife.
baby.
Oh my God.
Wife.
She was so gorgeous. And she went for a mommy makeover. In my opinion, she didn't need it. She didn't need it. But again, we have in society that, oh, she's on TV. She has to look a certain way. She has to look like the Kim Kardashians. She has to look like the Coke bottle figure and this, like that. And you have to understand that, especially if the woman has a child, we have to learn, women, that our bodies take at least a year to get back. All the muscles and everything. It takes about a year for us to get our bodies back to where everything needs to be, down to our organs, because our organs move. Everything moves when we have a baby. It don't just, oh, I pop back. No, you haven't popped back. The baby just came out and everything is trying to go back to where it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? From your diaphragm to your lungs to your intestines, everything is going back to where it needs to be. And you're going in to have an unnecessary surgery when childbirth itself is a line between life and death. Literally, when you have a baby, you are literally teetering on that line between life and death. I've done it 4 times. And I literally have seen that line, like, am I finna die? Especially with my first one. I thought I thought I was gonna lose my life. Everyone in that room knew I was not gonna make it out of there. They knew the baby might make it out, but they didn't think I was gonna make it out. That's how bad it was, teetering on life and death with having a baby. And then you're going to have an unnecessary surgery. Now, of course, would I like to have my 17, 18, I'll take my 21-year-old body back. Would I love to have it back? Yes. Yes, I would. But am I finna go under a knife to get it done? No, I'm not. No, because I've had to endure a 9-hour surgery just to make sure I'm able to walk and talk the way I can now. And I still did lose some functions to my right arm. I still did lose some functions. So, but still, I'm not going to get an unnecessary surgery just so I can look how society wants me to look. I feel good the way I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
And men undergo these surgeries too. And
Yeah.
some of them die on the table also.
Yeah, I mean,
or are mangled on the table or blotched. You know what I'm saying? They have semen injected into their body parts. Also, women having semen injected into their body parts just so they can have a bigger butt or a bigger breast. And it's not worth your life to look a certain way so you can look like an Instagram model when y'all really don't understand that they're really photoshopping it.
Well, I was gonna say I totally understand where you're coming from, and wow, that was a great story because
Y'all don't know.
Yeah. But to be 100% honest, would I consider going under the knife to do some things? Yes, I would.
Okay.
And I know that some people would be like, "Oh, why would you do that? You really don't need to." But it's for me.
That's
Like,
for you.
I wouldn't mind getting liposuction,
That's for you.
Yeah, but
That's for
that's
you.
me personally, or because I suffer from gynecomastia, if you know what that is. Like, you
Yeah.
have like saggy pecs. Like, I want to get rid of that, and one of the ways to get rid of is surgery. So
Yeah, you have to have surgery.
yeah, so if I mean,
But see, that would be something that would be not necessary, but also a necessary surgery because it's to help with your body. You know what I'm saying? It's to help your body. You know what I'm saying?
not necessarily like I don't need it.
You don't need it, but
it's a cosmetic surgery.
It's a cosmetic surgery, just like some people have to have the surgery to make their stomach smaller.
Yeah, the lap band surgery.
The lap band. I can't think of it. And they lose a lot of weight, but then they have the skin sagging.
Right.
All right. A lot of doctors won't do the surgery because they consider that cosmetic. Only way they'll do it is if that person has like a rash or that skin is becoming very bad on that person. Then they will take that skin off of that person, and it won't be considered cosmetic. It'll be more considered for as to help them. You see what I'm saying? If you can understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Fibro fog. Y'all gotta understand, I got fibromyalgia. So my brain be kind of warped sometimes. But in that case, that's again to help get excess skin, excess weight off of you. It's nothing wrong with that. If you want to have that to fit that is skin, is nothing wrong with that. And especially if your doctor okays it, you haven't had any complications with surgeries. But I'm saying, far as women and men that have had complications with surgeries, women that are just had children, 6, 7 months having a mommy makeover. No, wait at least 2, 3 years. because then you have a mommy makeover this year and then next year you're pregnant again. What was the point of getting that surgery? And now you're pregnant again. And then after that baby's born, then you want to have to get it again. Those are two unnecessary surgeries that you did not have to have.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference. It's a total difference. This will be one surgery for you. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have to have it again. Versus if I was to have a mommy makeover, and then let's say next year this time I'm pregnant. What was the point of me getting a mommy makeover and now I'm pregnant? And guess what? Oh, I have the baby. Oh, I'm going to wait 6-7 months and then have another procedure to get my body tightened right and then be pregnant again. Those are two unnecessary surgeries I did not have to have.
Right.
You see, it's a kind of a difference.
It's a form of perfectionism,
but it's from society.
Right.
It's a reason because of society. We have the Kim Kardashians. We have the the Kylie Jenners. We have to have our lips big and the Botox, and we have to have our face tight, and we have to have the tiny waist and the big hips. It's society that's driving this force behind women and men not being acceptive of themselves, because again, we are all different.
Right.
My body's not gonna be a size 2. I'm not gonna look like no Instagram model. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but that's a part of the whole isms.
Exactly.
And society is ran off of these isms. So
exactly,
our best bet is to do our best, know where we're at,
do
the best that we can with those isms that we live with, and just be happy. And and be comfortable with ourselves. If we want to do work, we do the work. If we don't, we don't. And that goes with any aspect, either body or mentally or physically, spiritually, emotionally. It's up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Physically, mentally, spiritually, it's all up to you. What you want to change, what can be changed, what can't be changed, and what should be changed.
Right.
Goes along with them isms, them boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. To make sure people respect you and your boundaries, and you're also respecting people's boundaries also. If someone does ostracize you, maybe you're being ostracized for a reason. That's your guardian angel keeping you from a situation that you don't need to be a part of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at those different isms. All of us have fell under one of these isms, maybe one, maybe more, maybe all.
Right. And I want to give credit to it was a YouTuber. He's no longer with us. His name was on YouTube. He went by Sinful to Pete, and I didn't listen to him.
Okay. I know who that is.
Yeah, I didn't listen to him a lot, but he always talked about the isms. And when I started listening to him and listening about the isms, and then I started doing my research on the isms on my own, even though I went to college and I knew about some of this already, but just tying it together and understanding how it affects society as a whole, and why certain people do certain things and make certain decisions, and how am I able to maneuver in a society that's ran off of these isms. And I was able to come up with this, and I know I still got work to do, but I'm developing that, and I'm doing the best that I can with where I'm at. But that's all I wanted to say about that.
Oh no, you're all good. We got to keep our isms. You got to keep our isms in check. You gonna keep our isms in check, because I know my isms is all out of whack. But these are things that for real that we should take through life and think about them. Just think about them. These are things that happen through life, no matter what race, religion, creed, or color you are. You probably have been faced with some of these isms. So is there anything else you want to add before we end our podcast for today?
Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform again. I want to thank, you know, one, I want to thank my father because he has taught me a lot of this as well. I want to thank the people that I haven't been around, that they understand the situation that I went through. Like, I was upset with them at one point, but I understand now. Even if they probably don't think that I understand, like I truly understand why I had to get away from them. And I hope they're doing good. Like, I hope their families are doing good, but I understand the best thing for me was to get away. And I want to just, I want to thank the content creators that talked about things like this before me. Probably not in the way that I've done today, but they paved the way for me to be able to express myself the way that I needed to progress. Like, this talking that we doing is, it's not only helping, other people that's listening to it, but it's also helping me with, processing and understanding that, hey, I'm making sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
know?
We're helping each other, we're helping one another, and we're helping other people too. Like, yeah. And you're helping me learn too. We're helping each other. We're here. We're here.
Right. But that's it.
Okay. I would like to add by saying my deepest condolences and prayers go out to the Sierra Jameson family for their loss. I am glad that the person allegedly responsible for the crime is behind bars. I will be following the story to see what will happen. But as of now, he has been held with no bond behind bars. Lawrence Boyle is the man that's been again alleged for the crime of Sierra Jameson. That was at the beginning of our podcast. So please make sure you guys watch the replay. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Everyone watching. Thank you again for watching the Mayday Mayhem podcast and our conversation with Bob Bowman. We're going to end this podcast where I end all my podcasts. If no one told you they love you, I do. I truly, truly do. And make sure you do better today than you did yesterday and strive for a better tomorrow today. Okay? Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, be free, and be yourself. And don't let nobody stop your stride. Right? We'll see y'all next time. I'm Mayday Mayhem.
Just Bob Bowman.
And we'll see y'all next time.